missed the second half of the game, at least live, but I'll definitely be keeping track of the game while I'm at work. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for being here. The first game I'll be talking about is the NFC Championship game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Green Bay Packers. In this game, the Buccaneers ended up pulling off the upset. They defeated the number 1 seed Packers 31-26. The Buccaneers improved their record to 14-5, and the Packers finished their season 14-4. In this game, the Buccaneers got off to a 7-0 lead in the first quarter from a Mike Evans 15-yard touchdown catch. Then in the second quarter, the Packers tied the game 7-7 from a Marquez Valdes-Scantling 50-yard touchdown catch. And then Leonard Fournette had a 20-yard touchdown run for the Bucs to put them up 14-7. He had a really beautiful spin move on that play. It was really cool to watch. Then the Packers kicked a field goal. Mason Crosby kicked a 24-yard field goal to make it 14-10. And then right before half, the Buccaneers had a 4th down play. It was a 4th and 4, and they almost punted, but they thought, hey, why not try and convert it and see what happens. So they went for it and ended up converting it. Tom Brady ended up completing the ball to Leonard Fournette to keep the drive going. And then everyone thought, hey, the Bucs could get themselves in the field goal range at this point. But then they ended up shocking everyone. They went for a deep pass, and they ended up completing it to Scotty Miller for a 39-yard touchdown pass. With 8 seconds remaining when the play started. So that left 1 second on the clock after he got that touchdown and made the score 21-10 at halftime, which was a really big difference maker in this game. You gotta go for it all though if you wanna get through a game like that, especially playing at Lambeau, so props to the Buccaneers on that play. Then in the third quarter, the Buccaneers got off to their biggest lead of the game. They ended up going up 28-10. They had a Cameron Brate 8-yard touchdown catch. This was big because it was off a Jordan Whitehead fumble force from Aaron Jones. And then Devin White had the fumble recovery. Devin White's really been making some big difference maker plays in the playoffs. Then the Packers kept their composure and started a little comeback rally. They really played well in this stretch of the game, so it was good to see them not give up when they were down by 18. They scored on a Robert Tonyan 8-yard touchdown catch, which made the game 28-17. And then they scored again towards the end of the third quarter to make it 28-23. Devontae Adams had a 2-yard touchdown catch, but they went for the 2-point conversion and didn't convert that. Equanimeous St. Brown dropped it, but it was slightly tipped by Ndamukong Suh, so that made the score 28-23. And then in the fourth quarter, the Buccaneers took an 8-point lead off a Ryan Suckup 46-yard field goal. And then one of the most questionable calls happened for the Packers. They were at a 4th and 8, which was 4th and goal for them at the Tampa Bay 8-yard line. They ended up opting just to put the ball back in Tom Brady's hand and hopefully get a stop. But you want to create your own opportunities by going for it, in my opinion. I mean, it could have ended up working, but when you're still down a touchdown, I just don't see a point in kicking the field goal. But they ended up doing that, and the Buccaneers ended up running out the clock. There was a big pass interference call on third down, which ended up extending the drive. Kevin King, who was covering Tyler Johnson, he pulled his jersey enough where the refs felt the need to throw a flag. The refs weren't really calling too many penalties the whole game, so it was kind of shocking to see a flag, but you definitely could see the jersey stretched on that play, so it was pass interference, but it seems like they should go consistently with how they were calling the game for the entire game. But that was such a big moment that it was still a good call because it was pass interference, but it's just questionable based on how they were calling the game beforehand. And then the Buccaneers officially ran out the clock after they had converted a third down, which was ran by Chris Godwin. So the Buccaneers ended up getting themselves a home game in the Super Bowl, which is the first ever home game by the team playing in the Super Bowl. It's pretty crazy. The Rams were close to doing it during Super Bowl 14, but they played the game in Pasadena, California, which is a little bit away from Los Angeles, so that didn't officially count. So it'll be cool to see the Buccaneers have home field advantage in the Super Bowl. I mean, there'll be a lot of different fans there, but they're used to playing in their stadium, so it should be exciting to see. For the Buccaneers stats, Tom Brady went 20 of 36 for 280 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He played pretty well, especially in the first half, and in the second half, he had some errant throws which were a little high, and some of them hit his receiver's hands and ended up being picked off as well. But he played really well, especially for being 43 years old. There's no sign of decline in him, and he's in his 10th Super Bowl now, which is absolutely insane. Leonard Fournette had 12 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown, and he had 5 catches for 19 yards. And Ronald Jones had 10 carries for 16 yards. So lately, they've been using a lot more of Leonard Fournette. I don't know if it has anything to do with Ronald Jones' injury that he was facing recently, but Leonard Fournette has been really productive lately. Chris Godwin had 5 catches for 110 yards, and he also had a 6-yard run. Mike Evans had 3 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. Scotty Miller had 2 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown. He was the one with the big 39-yard touchdown catch at the end of the first half. Rob Gronkowski had a 29-yard catch. Cameron Brate had 3 catches for 19 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Johnson had a 16-yard catch. And for the Bucs defense, they really showed up when they needed to most. Shaquille Barrett had 3 sacks. Jason Pierre-Paul had 2 sacks. Sean Murphy-Bunting had an interception. And Jordan Whitehead had a fumble force, and Devin White had Buccaneers Stats, Aaron Rodgers went 33 of 48 for 346 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Rodgers was so close to making another Super Bowl, but unfortunately they lost their 4th straight NFC Championship game. It's just so tough to make the Super Bowl though, and it's a really impressive feat to make the NFC Championship game 5 times. So, Rodgers is definitely really talented. They just need to get the game right in the NFC Championship game. Aaron Jones had 6 carries for 27 yards and 4 catches for 7 yards. And he also had that fumble he lost at the beginning of the 3rd quarter. Jamal Williams had 7 carries for 23 yards and 4 catches for 22 yards. A.J. Dillon had 3 carries for 17 yards, and he had a 13-yard catch as well. Marquez Valdes-Scantling had 4 catches for 115 yards and a touchdown. He really played well. Devontae Adams had 9 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. Allen Lazard had 3 catches for 62 yards. Mercedes Lewis had 3 catches for 28 yards. Robert Tonyan had 4 catches for 22 yards and a touchdown. Equanimeous St. Brown had a 10-yard catch. And for the Packers defense, Kenny Clark had a sack, Jair Alexander had 2 interceptions, and Adrian Amos had 1 interception. Next up, we'll be talking about the AFC Championship game between the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs ended up dominating this game, winning 38-24. The Bills finished their season 15-4, and they have a lot to be proud of. They made a lot of progress this season, and the Chiefs improved to 16-2 and are back in the Super Bowl for a 2nd year in a row. So in the 1st quarter, the Bills actually got off to a hot start. They were up 3-0 at first off a Tyler Bass 51-yard field goal, and then a big play happened when Mecole Hardman ended up fumbling the punt return, which was recovered by Tywan Jones. And then on the next play, Dawson Knox had a 3-yard touchdown catch, which the extra point was missed after, so the Bills were up 9-0 at the end of the 1st quarter. In the 2nd quarter, the Chiefs really made up some ground. They scored on a Mecole Hardman 3-yard touchdown catch, which made the score 9-7, and then they took the lead off a Darrell Williams 6-yard touchdown run, which was sprung by Mecole Hardman's 50-yard run. So when a player makes a mistake, like when he dropped the punt return earlier, I like how Andy Reid uses him more, just so they can prove that they can make up for that kind of play. That's why the Chiefs are so fun to watch. They have so many offensive weapons and a lot of speed on their team. And then the Chiefs ended up scoring again, taking a 21-9 lead when Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a 1-yard touchdown run. And then at the end of the half, Tyler Bass kicked a 20-yard field goal to make the game 21-12 at halftime. For the 3rd quarter action, Harrison Butker kicked a 45-yard field goal to make the score 24-12 Chiefs. And then Tyler Bass kicked a 27-yard field goal to make the score 24-15. Then the Chiefs scored on a Travis Kelce 1-yard touchdown catch. This was as a result of a big play by Tyreek Hill, which was a 71-yard catch. This made the score 31-15. So that was the score by the end of the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, Travis Kelce had a 5-yard touchdown catch, which resulted from a Rashad Fenton interception off Josh Allen. This made the score 38-15. So the score started getting out of control at this point. And then the Bills started coming back. Isaiah McKenzie had a 6-yard touchdown catch, which the 2-point conversion was no good. It was intercepted by Brashad Breeland. So the score was 38-21. And then the Bills attempted an onside kick and were able to recover it, so they got the ball back right after that. And then Tyler Bass kicked a 51-yard field goal to make the score 38-24. And then the Chiefs ran out the clock with a first down run by Darrell Williams on 3rd and 10. So the Chiefs really showed how dangerous they are as a team. And the Bills really got some good experience being in the AFC Championship game this year. Josh Allen really did a good job this year, along with the Bills team as a whole. So it was good to see their positive progress. The big thing with the Bills in this game is they can't kick field goals and expect to beat the Chiefs. They gotta take advantage of getting touchdowns if they wanna keep up with the Chiefs, because the Chiefs can score so fast. It's crazy. They just have such a good offense that you can never count them out, even when they have a slow start. For the Bills stats, Josh Allen went 28 of 48 for 287 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He also had 7 carries for 88 yards. Devin Singletary had 6 carries for 17 yards and 2 catches for 9 yards. TJ Yeldon had 3 carries for 15 yards and 4 catches for 41 yards. I think if the Bills can get more of a running game going, they'll be even more dangerous next year. But I know Zach Moss got injured. But, if they can find that consistent playmaker at running back, I think it'll make a huge difference for them. Isaiah McKenzie had 2 carries for 9 yards, and he also had a 6-yard touchdown catch. Cole Beasley had 7 catches for 88 yards. Stephon Diggs had 6 catches for 77 yards. Dawson Knox had 6 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. John Brown had 2 catches for 24 yards. Jerry Hughes had a sack for the Bills defense. And Tyler Bass finished off the season well, going 4 for 4 on his field goals. And he kicked 2 51-yarders, which were his long for the game. For the Chiefs stats, Patrick Mahomes went 29 of 38 for 325 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So he had another phenomenal game. Darrell Williams had 13 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown. And he also had a 9-yard catch. McCall Hardman had a 50-yard run, and he also had 2 catches for 4 yards and a touchdown. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 6 carries for 7 yards and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill had 9 catches for 172 yards. He's really good. They don't call him the cheetah for nothing. He's got lightning speed, and it's awesome to see. Travis Kelce had 13 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Byron Pringle had 3 catches for 22 yards. And for the Chiefs defense, Frank Clark sacks. L'Jarius Sneed had 1 sack. And Dano Bassigno had 1 sack as well. And Rashad Fenton had an interception in the 4th quarter. Alright, so now let's talk about the Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. With the Buccaneers having the first home Super Bowl game in NFL history. Like I said earlier, the Rams were the closest to have one, playing in Pasadena, California, back when they're in LA for a Super Bowl 14. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. The first outing between these two teams earlier in this season, Tyreek Hill had over 200 yards in the first quarter receiving. So I'm sure the Bucs will be on him and game planning against him especially. It's just tough to game plan against all of them though, because there's so many playmakers on the Chiefs. But there's also a lot of playmakers on the Buccaneers as well. So it's going to be fun to watch. Tom Brady's in his 10th Super Bowl. He wants to get his 7th ring, which is a crazy feat, which makes him the GOAT. Especially if he gets his 7th ring, then there's almost no question that he's the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes is a really talented young quarterback who could be similar to Brady in his career. He's already in his 2nd Super Bowl, and he's only 25 years old. The Chiefs are going for back-to-back wins in the Super Bowl. This hasn't been done since Super Bowl 38 and Super Bowl 39 by the Patriots, and it was by Tom Brady's team. So, let's see if Patrick Mahomes can do that himself and try to catch Tom Brady slowly with his legacy throughout his career. So now for my pick for this game. I actually already clinched my picks versus my brother. I'm up by 2 games now because I picked the Buccaneers to beat the Packers. So there's no way he'll catch me at this point. So I'm really happy about that. But for this game, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs. They're just looking really good right now. I think this will be a much closer game than last time. The Buccaneers ended up only losing by 3, 27-24, but they really fell down in that game when they were down 27-10 in the 3rd quarter. It's just really tough to cover all the offensive weapons the Chiefs have. I think the Buccaneers will make this a really good game, and you can't ever count Tom Brady out. He always seems to find a way to win, but I just feel like even though it's at Raymond James Stadium, that the Chiefs will get the job done. Andy Reid's doing a really good job coaching the team, and their coaching staff and players look like they're really having fun while playing, which really makes a huge difference. It seems like they're never out of it. Even if they fall down in games, they can score at the snap of a finger. Bruce Arians is also coaching really well, and both quarterbacks are playing lights out this season. Tom Brady's 43 years old and showing no signs of slowing down, and Patrick Mahomes is proving he's an elite quarterback at the age of 25. He's got so much upside and a lot more to play for in his career. So, I can't wait to watch this game. I think the Chiefs will win by 3 points.